Subscribe to our YouTube channel for in-depth interviews of India Inc. and press the bell icon so that you do not miss our updates.
Hello and welcome to Nirmal, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Hiral Daria. We have with us Kunal, Shah, head of Commodities Research, joining in. Kunal, welcome to the show. Clearly, you have the global markets which have turned hopeful once again, on the back of which the dollar index again has resumed its decline, and we are seeing some bit of negativity coming in on that front. What would you make of this, and what is your expectation broadly in terms of the dollar from here on? Because the next speculative short position on the dollar has grown to its largest in 10 years if you have to see any of the data coming in from the money market.
Yeah. So this week we have a tremendous amount of liquidity infusion from Federal Reserve, which is going to come. So apart from the previous QE, what we had, this week we are going to see a new announcement of QE by Federal Reserve. So on one side, all market seems to be little stretch, and on another side, there is so much liquidity coming in. So it is very difficult time for people like us, the fundamentalists, to really gauge the actual trend of the market. So here, this is the market where you don't chase the prices, you don't chase the movement. You patiently wait for the right trend and then you ride it. So what is the trend right now? I believe that even though no matter whatever Federal Reserve does, I'm not expecting a sharp crack in dollar index. So I'm expecting dollar index to gradually show some uptick rather than downtick. So today morning it breached 90, and right now it is already at 90.30. So
Hmm.
during the day, I'm expecting it to move up and test 90.50, 90.60. And as far as the impact of the same is concerned on the Indian rupee, I would take a contra call and go long in USD INR, because it clearly seems that right now USD INR is primarily driven by the massive inflow in our country rather than anything else. So there are days when dollar index have strengthened, and then to USD INR is appreciated. So I'm expecting a bit of contra movement. I think the future should not go below 70 to 80, and on the upside 73.30, 73.25 are the kind of levels what we can see.
Right. Kunal, but overall, this week becomes important from a lot of data points as well. You have the FOMC meeting that is lined up, you have the US GDP data that will be out, and the core PCE inflation data. Do you think this could act as fresh catalysts as well for the commodities market? And if yes, what would this actually mean if you have to take these three events into consideration?
I think the main event is inflation.
Hmm.
So if you look what has happened from the inflation point of view, I'll just show one chart to everyone so they will have a clear idea. 1 minute. So let us go into the shared screen. Okay. So I'll show you one chart. This is very interesting and very realistic. So see, this is the chart of inflation of US. 2-year inflation, 5-year inflation, 10-year inflation, 30-year
Hmm.
inflation. So if you see here, in the month of June 2020, the 2-year inflation was at 0.9%, and right now it is at 2.2%.
Hmm.
Same way 5-year test. So let us focus here. So let us assume that if the inflation moves up from 2.2 to 2.5%,
Hmm. Hmm.
that is actually very 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 bullish for gold and silver. It means that the inflation is coming. So the more the inflation is there in the system, then more dollar weakness will come. So I think the most important data will be the inflation data. Any sharp uptick in the inflation will cause gold and silver to rally during this week. So very important, I think, this data this week, two events. One is the Federal Reserve announcement of new stimulus and the inflation number of US.
Right. So overall, now taking these data points into consideration, as you've been mentioning, this will be an important aspect, that we should be following as well. What is the kind of impact do you see in terms of gold and silver and with regards to crude?
Okay, so gold and silver and crude. My fundamental view on gold and silver is not very bearish. I'm
Hmm.
expecting gold, but in a near term, it is going to remain under very tight range. So I'm expecting 49,300 to 48,700. That is going to be the range. From morning, I think if you see from even last week itself, we are not seeing that 1,000 rupees rally in gold like we used to see before that.
Hmm.
So if you ask me for the evening session, I would recommend to go long in gold at 49,000. Target would be 49,200. Stop loss would be 48,880.
Hmm.
But if you ask me, broader trend, I think 49,300, 350, you can again short. You will get again 48,900. That kind of view, you can keep it. So don't be very bullish. For evening session, 200 rupees upside, you can definitely go long in gold and silver both.
Right. And how would you advise someone to play with regards to where, crude is concerned? Because clearly, if you see in terms of where crude is, concerned from here on, and as you mentioned about the kind of impact the GDP could have, do you think crude oil prices could be weighed down by a downbeat energy demand outlook that could actually offset the positive impact from a weaker dollar?
Yeah, so I'll tell you about crude oil. I am bearish on crude oil. I'm not
Hmm.
expecting near-term oil to move up. But
Hmm.
today there are two news. One was bearish, one was bullish. But the bearish, more than bearish news, the bullish news is that Iraq, which was not following the compliance of OPEC,
Hmm.
has decided and said that from next month they are going to cut the production.
Okay.
So that is slightly bullish. But what is bearish? The bearish is overall the scenario in Europe and US doesn't account for higher oil demand. Number one. Number two, the
Hmm.
OPEC compliance is getting weaker. Number three, US oil production is expected to shoot up in next 3 months. So I'm expecting that 38.50 at current market price also one can go short in crude oil. Put a stop loss of 39.20, 10, 39.20 and expect it to go down to 37.70.
Right. So that's with regards to where overall crude goes. Coming back to where base metals are concerned, what is your outlook? Do you think the outlook, maybe, yes, there could be short term jitters right now, but the longer term outlook, say, if you have to take 3 to 6 months into perspective, does it seem positive?
Yeah, so the long-term outlook is positive in metals because of the liquidity scenario is going to be very comfortable for next 6 months. So we are going to see easy monetary policy will continue next 6 months. So till next 6 months, I'm not expecting a crash. So copper can go down to 580, 570, but it will not go down to 450 rupees or 430 rupees. So we are going to see small profit taking, small correction. If you ask me for the evening session, I'm expecting it to go down. So one can go short in February contract copper at 610. 614 should be your stop loss, and you can expect copper to edge lower and test 604.
Right, so that's with regards to copper. Kunal, one another aspect on this front, on the base metal front is what I want to check with you is that the economic recovery is building, the demand for metals somewhere is increasing, and the sentiment about base metals is positive right now. Because clearly, I'm taking China into consideration. It ended 2020. Uh, Clearly, the economy grew by 6.5% in the fourth quarter, and it's faster than what everyone was forecasting. So, if you have to take China into consideration, plus the vaccinations against COVID-19 continue along with the economic stimulus measures, does that augur well with regards to demand?
Okay, so if you look here, the China's economy, how what it has done. So in last 3 months, we are seeing the stabilization after the sharp recovery. So you see the fixed asset investment in China uh, after sharp drop, we have seen a recovery. Manufacturing PMI also shooting up, and industrial production also shooting up.
Hmm.
So we are seeing a sharp uptick in China's economic activity. That means that the demand of metals is better. But the data which has come out this month, indicating that the production of base metal in China shot up broadly by 10% to 11% because of the higher prices. So
Hmm.
that is one of the reason why I'm not expecting metals to really shoot up immediately. So hence I'm expecting, metals to show moderate return in near term.
Right. Kunal, there's a question coming in with your view on silver. Anything specific that you would want to say?
Yeah. So even silver, my view for intraday, if you ask me, 66,700 is the current market price. 67,100 are the kind of levels which we can see. But from there, I will be not bullish. So if you ask me, till the evening session, 200, 300 rupees upside, you can go long. But 67,100, 67,000 are the levels I will short, and I will again cover my short at 66,100. So for evening session, 200, 300 rupees upside you can see, but then I think it will fizzle out.
Right. So that's with regards to where silver is concerned. I think all the other questions are answered as well. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Kunal, as well. And we will be back on Wednesday at 4 o'clock. Thank you so much.